Welcome to It's All About Connection, NVC with Dr. B.
We are talking about the good reason behind everything. I don't quite know what that means yet, but Cindy will enlighten me / us.
I hope so. I hope that I can enlighten you and everybody. The good reason behind everything, I think it's just got to do with, don't you find this could be a generalization, but don't you find that when you or anybody is in conflict, we tend to just have a lot of immediate blame and mistrust. Like we think the worst.
Yeah.
That's judgment, but yeah, we're looking for you know, what they did wrong or, you know, who's to blame for what. Instead of just wouldn't it be nice to have just a benefit of the doubt always? Like leaning in with this idea of oh, I'm sure there was a good reason for that. I'm sure there was a good reason for that. Like, wouldn't that be nice if the whole world could do that? Like, I'm sure there must have been a good reason for that. Instead of I think, automatically go to what a dickhead and, they're just worst of intentions. Like we so pivot there, I think, so much more than leaning into this oh, well, there must have been a good reason for that. Why are you laughing? Look.
I don't know. Even as you say, there must be a good reason. I have so much suspicion. Like, that is not where I go. And when I hear people go into well, there must have been a good reason for, why this person did that thing, I'm like, maybe not. I think you got screwed. And so,
Well,
but
first of all,
I think there's something.
first of all, wait a second. Let's back up a little bit, because if someone were to say, well, there must have been a good reason, that would piss me off, because that's not empathy. That's really taking the devil's advocate approach. Must
Yeah,
have,
there's no
it's not the
understanding
other person.
there.
Right. So there's no understanding. So we wouldn't want to do that. That's not what I'm intending with this conversation. I'm just curious about if our minds were wired to go. Not that somebody would say that to us, but if our minds were just through the centuries, we were able to develop a pathway in our brain to pivot to, oh, well, I wonder what the good reason was for that, instead
Even
of,
saying good, I think I'm getting hung up on this expression of there must have been a good reason for that, because I think it's often a way to scapegoat, or to, which is a judgment, or to let someone off the hook, also a judgment. But I think maybe for me, more just having curiosity, just saying or wondering what is going on for that person. I wonder.
no, she's frozen. Darn it. I wonder what's the good reason
Okay,
for
did you
her
hear any
being.
of what I just said?
No, I didn't hear anything. I was just saying to myself, I wonder what's the good reason
Hmm,
for the fact that she's
good
frozen right
reason.
now.
I said even ascribing something like quote unquote good, which implies morality. What is the good reason? So
Yes.
having more curiosity, what is going on? I wonder
Yes.
why this
All
is
of that
happening.
is true. I think I'm just being extreme and being more conventional in how I'm saying it, just to bring home the point, right?
Yeah.
Just to lean in with a level of what I would call open-heartedness, and just trust. Just leaning in with trust that there is actually a reason here. There's a reason. There's no good or bad or blame. Just there is actually a reason, a real reason here.
Can you give me an example?
Well, yeah, you go to see your friend and okay. Actually, this was something that really happened just yesterday. So this is a live event. I'm going to keep the players' names out of it and not give the exact event so people are safe. But yeah, a couple people I know had some words with one another yesterday. It was about one person wanted to look around this place with the other person who had just been put into this place, and the person that was just put into this place didn't want to look around. And yeah, there was, I think, conflict and hurt feelings, and like rather than like think like immediately going to blame on both sides, like, she's always like this or he's always like that, instead of thinking about, oh, the good reason behind this was that she was really wanting there to be more comfort and some learning and some well-being for this person, and maybe even some comfort for herself, like she, to have been able to like look around would have provided some more comfort there, and he on the other hand maybe had some needs around just some space and understanding and maybe some agency in his own way. Like those were the good reasons there. The good reasons, they always come back to needs. I mean, that's what I'm getting at here, right? Like in NVC, all conflict is ultimately about a need that we're trying to express. That's the quote good reason. It's connected to the need, but we never pivot there. Or we do, if we learn NVC, we do hopefully pivot there eventually, but we still have a lot of shit to move through first. Like we have to like really like work through the judgments and move them over the way and get to a place of leaning in. I just think it just like, wow, maybe one day in like, excuse me, 100 years from now, when our brains have evolved and we've caught up with our brains on how to lean in with a lot more consciousness and a lot more trust, we'll get there. But it's just so interesting to see how I mean, I'm sure that's got a lot to do with fight, flight, freeze, trauma, what our brain's already used to, and we're looking for safety, so we put up our guard and we go into the blame game because we think that that's going to get us some safety to make sure that, we are protecting ourselves from these quote bad people that do these bad things
I
instead
also
of
think it's like a hang up with right and wrong because
mm,
I think, of course, naturally we want to be right, which means the other person is wrong, and we don't wanna be
mhm.
wrong, so we protect ourselves, and instead of thinking, quote, unquote, "There must be a good reason for this,"
Yeah,
because
that
if
well,
there
that
is a good
there's
reason for this, you might be wrong. So,
or
I think it's that
maybe
kind of rigid thinking.
yes, because or maybe no one's wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just all about needs. Maybe it's about you had these needs, the other person had these needs, and that's all that was happening. That's it. No right or wrong. Like, is that like too mind-boggling for folks? Like that there doesn't have to be the right and the wrong. Why are you smiling? Oh no. Now you're frozen again. Shit. Mm.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're back, but you had a really funny looking face, but you're back now. Okay. But you were smiling and I was trying to get at why.
Just yeah, you saying like, "Why is this so mind-boggling that, there might not be any right or wrong?" I think ego gets involved, and
Mm,
ego is all about right and wrong.
yeah. Rumi had it. Quote right. Rumi had it right. That's funny. Rumi had it right. The whole thing of like out beyond concepts of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. In that field is just all the needs. We're going to pluck the needs up, the little seeds of needs, little flowers of needs. That's all that's happening, folks, ever. If we could get there, it could be so much more understanding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this concept of, I mean, again, getting back to how we started out, like, what is the good reason? I am exaggerating just to try to make a imprint on people's minds to go there. Like, what is the good reason? There's always a quote, good reason. Can we just lean in there? Can we lean in there?
Just lean in with curiosity.
Mm-hmm. It's so easy to say, such another thing to do, but just to kind of start noticing for yourselves, those of us listening to this or watching it. Yeah, can I start to pivot? And can I train myself to pivot quicker, quicker than what I have in the past? Because I think NVC, that's what we're attempting to do, and it takes a bit to even remember to think about the need, and then, wow, wouldn't it be great when we can like just quickly go to, I wonder what the good reason is for this. There is a good reason. There's nobody right. There's nobody wrong here.
It takes
Just everybody.
practice and building that muscle so you can go there more and more
Mm-hmm.
quickly.
It's a lifetime of practice, I find. But anyways, so yeah, if you want practice, folks, please join us in the intro class, which will give you the foundation. And then once you get through the intro, you can join us in the empathy gym, which is where all the practice takes place. And I do see people that have gone through the system and leveling up in our system. They're more able to, and more able to quickly turn to what's the good reason. There's more of an openness there. I think that's how we're going to have peace on earth. We just have a lot of work to do with it.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
And if you want to call our empathy warm line number, it's 850-706-0488.
You've been listening to It's All About Connection, NVC with Dr. B. For more episodes and guest bios, please visit us at www.thebigbymethod.com. That's www.thebigbymethod.com. And remember, empathy first.